Hi, everybody. Welcome to Second in Command. I'm your host, Matt Walsh. We used to be a podcast where we would rewatch Veep episodes. Now we are a podcast about the politics of cinema and cinematic politics. Basically, we watch movies with presidents and vice presidents in them. And today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine. I don't think you've ever listened. I can't say friend of the show, but I'll say friend of the show. Marcus Henderson. You've never listened to this podcast.
I've listened to this podcast in clips.
In clips, yeah. All right. That's all right. I'll take that. What was your favorite clip?
It's the one where it's like two white guys
talk too long.
Anyways, talk to another white guy.
You're describing the podcast
about
industry.
Old white guys.
That falls under a lot of podcasts.
All right, fine.
So Marcus and I know each other. How do we know each other?
Our children went to the same school at one point.
That's right. And we used to host.
And we hosted the Pan Derby.
Which is basically that Pinewood Derby race cars.
Pinewood Derby, yeah.
And it was really funny to work with you in that environment.
Yeah.
And we would always, and you would always have, like, we did a couple during COVID where it was Zoom.
Yeah, we did Zoom, and I had the puppets, and
you were fully committed in wigs.
Yeah, wigs.
You brought
everything.
the heat. Yeah,
it was one of those things where it's like I really want to show up, and it was at an age where my kids wouldn't be embarrassed. So, they still like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
for the wigs, I don't let that stop. If I'm hosting something, I guess I would let them stop. If they saw me putting on a wig and they said, "Dad, please don't wear that,"
yeah,
I might take it off.
Yeah, see, my kids were just at that age.
Yeah,
where they're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Yeah,
other people are laughing. Oh, he's cool.
And my favorite thing about that is CCS, Children's Community, was a very progressive school, wonderful school, a lot of love.
Absolutely.
Kids got a lot of love and education, but there was never competition. They didn't like competition. So the race wasn't a race. It was just to see who could build the most artistic car.
Which I took bets in the back about like who would had win? The most popular car.
They did have some really ingenious decorations on the car.
I love my son. His first car, I think he just put like a rock on top of it.
Yeah.
He's just like, this is a rock car.
I think my kid, Emmett, might have taped quarters, like a stack of quarters on it. Just to give it a little weight. But he had a clever title.
Yeah, that's the thing. I never had a clever title to give them. They were always just rock car. Okay.
But we would say, on your marks, get set, exhibit.
Yeah,
instead of go.
Yeah.
Because it was an exhibition. And everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah.
That's very California.
Yeah.
So now, how would people know you, Marcus? I know you because you're funny and you went to my school. And you're a nice man.
You probably know me from some movies, some TV shows.
Which ones?
A little movie called No, I'm just playing. Get Out would be one of them. I think that's probably the most popular movie that
Who'd you play in that?
I've ever been in. I played Grandpa.
Yep.
Walter.
Okay.
And in TV, there's a couple of shows you might know me from. Tacoma FD with the Broken Lizard guys, Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy.
Funny.
And Snowfall was created by John Singleton. So it's a fun time. And a lot of stuff in between, man. I feel like I've been all over at this point.
Yeah, and you do theater. You did a play during...
Yeah. I did a play a couple years ago during the strike. I went back to Yale and did a play there.
Yeah.
By my friend Christina Anderson. That was really fun.
And then I remember you telling me that every day you had to have a conversation because there was some intimacy stuff.
So theater is changing in a way where it's like, we're all grown. We all know what we're doing. But I think because it was in a learning institute, we had to put these measures for intimacy safety. And so we would have every day before rehearsal, we would have to go where we were green or red, meaning we can be touched or not touched in certain areas. So, I'm one male out of a cast of 4 and 3 other females. So, obviously, I kind of felt like it was obvious that some red spots were here and here.
Yeah.
But, we had to go through this process every day. And it just made me feel like, man, what pervert is out there every day thinking like, oh, yeah, this is my chance. God, please be green today. Please be green.
Did you ever put a red zone
I
then open it up?
I was like, I'm as green as Kermit the Frog.
You're
baby.
green every day.
Every day.
Whatever you feel safe. You felt safe.
Because I felt safe.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the parameters didn't call for any crotch action. So I just felt like, I can be green and I feel safe and I don't need to exclaim that, hey, don't touch my crotch.
That would be good for because I know you do martial arts. That would be good for kung fu or fight choreography. Because if you had an ankle tweak, you go, okay.
Which I think they
ankle's red.
Take care of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a good fight coordinator would know how to take care of you. They'll ask, they'll check in.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was a bit excessive.
Yeah.
No,
it was interesting. I remember you retelling me that. I'm like, that is really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, but overall, it's for the safety of people who don't feel safe, and I definitely want people to feel safe. So I don't want to prod or poke fun at people who really, need that. But I just felt like it was a little silly seeing this happen.
And it was an introduction to that. It was like the first time.
Yeah, it was my first time ever going through it. I was like,
this is different.
This? Okay.
I remember the first time I had an intimacy coordinator, and it was strange, but it was so useful.
Yeah.
It really helps. Putting someone else in charge is really good.
Yeah.
Because then any kind of questionable or weirdness is just they're in charge, and it's sort of
I remember having to kiss somebody once, and I didn't particularly like the smell of their breath, and I asked the intimacy coordinator
thank you for enunciating.
Intimacy coordinator if they could give them a breath mint, or if we could
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So you didn't hurt their feelings.
So it wasn't even about me and how. So,
that's
know what I mean?
Great.
It was really nice.
Oh my God.
So for that reason, intimacy coordinators are a go for me. Yeah.
Kill that. Can you kill that tobacco onion?
Yeah.
Taste.
That's exactly what it was. I feel like maybe she had locks that morning or something like that. It was like, what the hell is this?
That's
gross.
so funny. That is really good. Well, today we are, of course, talking about anything else to talk about before we get into the movie?
You know what people will know me from if they don't already?
I love that you're on the show. I know what you're going to talk about. Go ahead.
Lincoln Lawyer.
I really like that. That's Michael Connolly, right?
Yeah, Michael
He's the
Connolly.
author.
That's right.
Same world as Bosch.
Same world as Bosch, man.
And you get to play his
And I'm playing an associate of Mickey when he ends up locked up at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
So when he goes to jail, he might need some help.
I love it. And I'm a sucker too for shows that glorify LA.
Yeah.
It's kind of like film noir, but now it's modern.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of those things where the set is so fun, man, and the people are so nice that I'm like, please God, just write me into more episodes. Bring me around this environment more, especially at a time where it's really hard out here and people aren't working and stuff like that. I feel so extremely blessed and lucky to be able to work not just on a great show, but with great artists on that show, So
Well, you seem like somebody who puts that out there. You're always
that's my
You verbalize gratitude, or you're kind, and you go the extra mile.
Yeah, it's my number one goal, man. It's I want to break up some Hollywood stereotypes, and I want to just go in with as much joy as possible. I think about.
Would you be my life coach?
Listen, man,
dude, I need some of that pepper.
If it just gives me another 5 minutes with you, man, I'll do anything. All right.
We can make this a 3-hour episode. I think we got 4 hours, Aaron. Right? We can do a 3-hour marathon.
Yeah, I don't mind, man. I mean, I'll go get my ukulele and we'll just jam out.
Oh my God,
this will be a whole different podcast by the end of this interview.
I wish you would have brought your ukulele. No, you are good about that. I do. There are many times where you've been like, hey man, I just want to say that was really fun. Or if you ever want to do anything, you're very positive in that way.
Yeah. No,
not just stroking my ego, but I've seen you do it to other people.
No, I mean, you've asked me to do things before, and I felt like it was one of the funniest things in the world what we did.
Hustling, man.
I show people that to this day.
Nothing ever happened to it.
This is the funniest thing that I've ever seen you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, we gotta figure it out. Maybe we just do a whole page dedicated to old sports moments. You just do a page of it.
Yeah.
Because that setup was, for the day.
We did a whole curling. No, we tried to pitch a curling show. I'm informing our fans. And whatever.
Yeah.
We took it on the chin. Nobody was like, sorry, nope. Nope.
But that's when you got to put it out there yourself and just let the people decide, because I've learned that first you get the audience to get into it, and then when you take the analytics, the data to them, then they go,
You show them.
Like that's really what it is, but it was so much fun that my point is, it's so much fun that I would do it every day.
Well, you get to do improv. Like, that's what I loved about that. Like, you're talking about a segment where Marcus played like a historic curler in the ice curling world, and he talked about, we talked about other athletes that you worshiped, and you had a crazy character, and we just did it in my living room, but
it was all about the Shumash, like 1980.
Yeah,
it was about the event, but I was all over the place.
Yes.
And it just became...
Yes, the Squamish Cup.
Yeah, Squamish
Squamish
Cup.
is a tribe of Native Americans, and it was a fictional cup that we put in Minnesota or something. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Please come.
But anyways, I love that, and you did all the stuff on Tacoma was loosely improvised, right?
Yeah. We really got to just kind of let it flow, and those guys are really good about like just getting a couple of scripted takes, and then after that, just like go if you got something.
So for Tacoma, was there a script? Like the scene?
Yeah, there was a script. There was a script, but it was like, it's not like on like Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? Like they give you the situation and they tell you what parameters to stay in. I got to do an audition with Larry Davis, so I feel like I was on the show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. I'm going to claim that.
Yeah.
I did.
You auditioned for Larry.
Yeah. They said, don't touch Larry. And the first thing I did was like grab him. And
Is that true?
Yeah.
Like, then you're not going to get the job.
I got the job.
Oh, you
but
did?
I couldn't do it because I was doing Tacoma.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, he was very endeared by that.
Really?
Yeah.
And they told you don't touch him.
They said, don't touch Larry.
That's funny.
It was an instinct, man. Like, it's like if I walked in here and they were like, don't touch Matt. And I was just like, Matt!
You would have touched me.
Yeah.
And you won me over.
Yeah.
I like that instinct to shake it up. But on Tacoma, was it scripted dialogue? Like there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was scripted.
It was scripted,
and you would get that
but
right.
But then a couple of scripted takes, and then it's kind of a free for all after that.
And did what percentage of the free for all stuff ended up in the cut? Would you say?
About 20-30%, which is a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
It was a lot of
it was worth it.
It was those little tags at the end. It was like the little things in between that we would get when, if I didn't have a lot of lines in the scene and I could just throw something out there, it would make it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love that show.
The big thing you learn about that stuff is you got to improvise on story.
Yeah.
If you can add something that's related to the story, it has a better chance of getting through the editor's scissors.
I want to learn how to get, like, the very first day I'm on set is to feel as comfortable as the last day on set.
Oh, that's
I don't know
so
how do you do
hard.
that? I feel like you do it so well.
I'm a good faker.
It looks like you do it so well. You know what I mean? Like you look like you're just comfortable. Like they give you a script, you look at it, you go, I probably wouldn't say it like that, and then you're like, I'm ready, and I feel like you just do your thing.
I'm still getting better at that, to be honest. But I'm a good faker, and partially I am like, I'm confident if they cast me, they know the package. Like I have good ideas as well as I'm a good actor. Mm-hmm. So I have no ego about like I'm going to pitch you something,
right?
And I won't feel hurt if you say no. Just stick to the lines.
So you pitch it and you don't just do it.
No,
you pitch it first.
I generally pitch it, and they get a vibe. But I wish I had the cojones to just like go into set and just improvise.
By the last day, I'm always like, I feel so comfortable, and I am improvising. I am throwing little extra things that feel character-y for me, for my character. I throw it out there, and so the first day on set on Lincoln Lawyer, I had improvised, and I said something about, I gotta get this motherfucker, I gotta figure this motherfucker out or something. And the executives ran into set and was like, he can't say that. I was like, I can't say motherfucker? Like, did you only pay for 4 motherfuckers? and this was the fifth motherfucker. Like, what is it about that? So it kind of like stifled my confidence at the beginning at first. But like they were really warm about like, hey, joking about it, like, hey, no motherfuckers today. And I was like, okay. But like still giving me that room to just kind of flow in it, like they really, I think that they didn't really know what the character was going to be quite yet. Like they had an idea who this character was.
Right.
But having me in it, he's supposed to be this like hard LA gangster. But then you hire Marcus Henderson and like,
he's
I
charming,
can give you that.
he's endearing.
Yeah, like I'm gonna slide a little bit of that in there. And I think you really start to love that character in a way to where it changed the plan. So then I got a little more, they started to trust me a little more, I would say.
Yeah, I can think of things that like I did a pilot and I never meshed with the director. Mm-hmm. And I remember him like giving me, and it's his show, obviously. I'm not like an actor who's going to start a revolution. But I remember I would get notes. I'm like, okay. And I never felt like we meshed, and I felt really tight. And then when it went to series, I got that call of like, yeah, we're going to, I forget what it was, but we're going to go a different way with that. And then it went to like a famous guy too as well. So there was that element to it. But I always remember like you, I wish I could have corrected it on set, and I don't know how to do that. That was like a week's worth of filming, and I never quite felt free, and I never quite felt in sync with that guy.
Yeah, I'm finding in doing these self-tapes now how much fun, I'm finding the fun in it now. But first it wasn't fun. I didn't like self-tapes. I still don't care for them because I'd rather be in the room and
100%
have my energy intertwined.
Yep.
But it's fine. I feel like the lucky ones who do get me on set from a self-tape are going to really get it,
Yeah.
But I find I'm having more fun now, like being able to practice and try a different way. Like doesn't just have to be like, all right, do it to get the job. It's like, no, do it, like have fun. Like this is your chance now to like just fucking do whatever you want, and I'm starting to find the fun.
You can be my acting coach and life coach, actually. I like what you're saying.
5 minutes more is all I'm asking with you.
How much you charge for 5 minutes? We'll talk off mic.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, right?
Yeah,
or it is a little bit. A little bit.
Got a family to feed, man.
I get it. You're up there in swanky Calibi. So we are, of course, talking about the film.
My name's Forest
Gump.
Should we do the whole interview, the rest of the interview, just in Forest Gump?
I can't do a good Forest, but you can try.
Or Bubba Buford Blue.
I like in the movie when the guy's like, "You better stick that lip in; it's gonna get shot off."
Dude, that was the craziest. Like, it's probably one of the most racist lines in the movie. When you think about it.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that. I don't have the same perspective as you.
But no, he's saying that it's so big, it's going to get caught on a tripwire.
Yeah.
Meaning like a tripwire is on the ground.
But I thought it was not because of the
lip hangs so low.
Bubba.
He had big gums.
Yeah, and he had like an open bottom mouth, if you will.
Yeah. Like this.
Like that.
Yeah. It was a little sling bladey. Right?
Are you saying Forrest is sling bladey, or are you saying Bubba was sling bladey?
Bubba was sling bladey. He was a little.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Because there's a little sling bladey in Forrest too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's a little more upbeat up here.
Yeah.
It's both down here.
Sling bladey down there. Pickers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. But so Forrest Gump came out in 1994, June. Mm-hmm. So that was the release date. And I'm going to read some of the sort of the context of the country and the world and what the news headlines were. And you can just respond and tell me what you think was on people's minds when they sat down to watch this movie.
Just say real fast, I was June 94. I was finishing the 4th grade, Miss Moore, and going into the 5th grade.
So I am older than you.
No, see, this is the debate.
I'm older than you. I was much older than that.
I think 94. That we started at the same time. You just so happened to come out before me.
You were a spermatozoa.
I was a swimmer.
You were a spermatozoa. Actually, not. You weren't, because sperms regenerate very often.
But I always held out. See, I saw
you
where
wouldn't have
they
survived.
were going. I saw where they were going. I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I remember this.
You wouldn't
man.
have survived.
I remember this. I remember watching the tunnel and going, I don't like what's that way. I don't like what.
I don't believe this. This is hearsay. I don't believe any of this.
You know what? I know my memories. All right. You can. I won't.
That's like your pre-life memory. That's like a. I don't know. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, then that's why. So you were a spirit floating around. I kind of believe it. We had a really wonderful dog who passed away, and I like to believe that his soul went into the soul of another dog.
You know they can clone your dogs now. I didn't realize.
I have no interest. There's no guarantee they're going to be the same.
No, they're not going to be the same at all.
That's going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be going to be like really bastardized.
That means then like Trump's soul is going to go into some other asshole.
Who's to say George Washington's soul didn't go into Trump? I mean,
I don't think. No, George was a good man. I don't think so. I would argue he didn't want to be king. He didn't want to be king. He said, "Give it to someone else."
I'm just going to go on record. George Washington was not a good man.
All right, he had some problems.
Yeah,
he had some problems.
Yeah.
Did he give his estate to his number one servant? No, or did the kids take? I think there was something like that.
Yeah,
I wish I knew more about history. So 1994, things had happened.
Okay.
Nancy Kerrigan got kneecapped.
Yep. Remember that?
You remember that by Gil Hooley?
Yep.
They convicted the 4 men who tried to blow up the World Trade Center in '93.
Oh wow.
The terrorists, yeah. That was kind of going on in the world and in New York. Bill Clinton was accused of sexual harassment when he was governor during his governorship of Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
I forget her name.
This wasn't even like Lewinsky time.
No, it was
pre-Lewinsky.
His behavior was becoming public a little bit, but they kept it down or whatever. I forget what happened with that one. The Rwanda massacre of the Hutus and the Tutsis was going on. That was brutal. Arkansas beat Duke for the NCAA championship.
Wow.
That was huge.
I mean, Duke that year, that was Grant Hill, I think.
In 94? Wow. Good memory.
Was that Grant Hill?
Leitner? Did Leitner win?
No, Leitner was... Oh, yeah. No, Leitner was like 92, I think.
Aaron, could you jump in on this one and just give us the lineup for the Duke 94 NCAA championship? Steven Spielberg that year, so Oscars are usually in February. He won his first Oscar for director. You know what it was for?
In 94?
Yeah, like February 94. Schindler's
List. That's right, with Liam Neeson and
you did
Ralph
know
Fiennes.
that? That's pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't know it was his first. I didn't know it was his first.
One. He'd been nominated, but
it was so many films before this.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Back then, they still had a record of the year. Do you know what the record of the year was?
1994. Record of the year. I don't think Michael Jackson came out with anything at that time, did he?
Soundtrack to The Bodyguard, including I Will Always Love You by Whitney.
Yes. Okay.
She had a couple tunes on that, I think.
Written by Dolly Parton.
Yes. And she probably recorded first or no?
Yeah.
She had it out there first.
She had it out there. And then
Aaron, did you get a lineup? For Duke?
Yes. Grant Hill was there.
Yep.
Christian Ast, Eric Meek, Cherokee Parks, Antonio Lang, Chris Collins, Jeff Capel, Kenny Blakeney, Marty Clark.
You don't have to go. You don't have to go past the eighth man.
But Grant Hill though, like I remember Grant Hill specifically because he was like
he's amazing.
Yeah,
he had a long career too.
Really long
amazing.
career. A lot of different teams.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing too. I didn't like that. I didn't like a lot of people going to different teams. I'm a big loyalty kind of guy. Like I admire people.
You don't want them getting their money? Come on, you're an actor. You got to see that.
Well, it's not all about money. If they were like, Look, if I was having a good time and I was able to keep up and pay for all the things that I needed, I don't think I would need a lot. Like, I'm saying that now, but
you could keep your lifestyle in check and you wouldn't be driven by money.
Yeah.
You're right. I see that.
I feel that's necessary, but as time goes, it's like, I realize everybody can't be a Kobe. Everybody can't, stick with one team or a Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, this is where I'm going to stay. Like, everybody's not going to be seen that way. People want to go where they feel valued,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, money is the visible thing that can show you how much you value me.
Yeah.
But if someone actually values you and they, it's a lot, I think, that is involved.
Well, you want to go with an organization that respects their athletes and takes care of them.
Right.
And you also want to go with a team that's going to win. Like Tom Brady took a little less money to get other pieces on his roster, seemingly.
Right.
So I get that. That makes sense. And I think Jordan did that to some extent because he could make his money outside of,
he only made
salary.
$11 million in his whole career through basketball.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to hear like contracts, $163 million. You're like, what?
Yeah, the biggest contract in sports right now is that guy on the Mets.
Is it
Soto?
It's not. Oh, I thought it was an Angels dude. No. Yeah. Soto.
Aaron, you can weigh in on this.
Well, Soto's younger than Ohtani, so he has a longer deal. He's got like a 15-year deal at $765, I think.
Okay.
And Ohtani is $700 for 10 or something like that.
I see. So the biggest number. Got it.
Yeah, and Ohtani's all deferred.
I mean, this is crazy. This is all nuts to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Beyond my scope.
Someday you'll get it. Lincoln Lawyer season 5. You're going to get $700 million.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to race through some of these other events.
Yeah.
What else? ER and Friends will be coming out in the fall of this year. Kurt Cobain took his life this year. Chain bookstores outsold independent bookstores for the first time ever. So your Barnes and Nobles and probably places, I think maybe Amazon was up at that point. The government set up its first internet webpage that year.
Ooh.
So the internet was just waking up. .gov. Flavor Saver tomato, first genetically modified produce to be put on market.
I remember this.
You do not.
I do remember
You remember?
They were talking about cloning tomatoes, and then they started cloning sheep shortly after. I remember that.
All right.
I was
in fourth grade?
Yeah, man.
You're on top of it.
My dad listened to a lot of talk radio, man.
Okay.
A lot of talk radio.
All right. I believe you. Richard Nixon died, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah. He lived into the 90s. And John Candy died. I remember that one. That was really sad.
Yeah, that was really sad.
I have a minor correction for Marcus.
What's that?
Michael Jordan made $94 million.
That's a big correction.
No, wait, through basketball?
Yeah. Till 96, he was making $3.8 million a year. And then 97, 98, $30 million and $33 million per year.
The back.
So it wasn't much. Like, it was single-digit millions.
Yeah.
Except for those 2 years. But it added up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take that.
Obviously, a ton more outside of the
game. Shipping News won for the Fiction Prize, Pulitzer Prize for fiction. And then the movies that came out that year also, Speed, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, Lion King.
Lion King, guaranteed. Best movie of that year.
Well, we'll have to look at that. And then there was, the song of the year was A Whole New World from Aladdin. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. Should have been I Just Can't Wait to Be King. But okay.
And then Nelson Mandela was elected first time that year.
Okay.
So that's the world in a nutshell.
Apartheid was being
over
addressed.
and just not necessarily being addressed. They were moving on.
They were moving on.
They didn't really punish a lot of those dudes who were still holding the money.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of the knock against that.
Okay.
But I never ran a country. Mandela's like, we gotta move on. Let's just start over. So he gave them grace. But what else was I was going to say? I think that's, and then of course looming literally around the corner is, and we always end up talking about this, the OJ murder was
absolutely
in June. So this month, Aaron, last thing, I'm leaning on you a lot today.
Yeah.
When did OJ supposedly kill Nicole, or the night of that murder? Let me phrase it differently.
It's in the early teens, because I know like the 19th was the day of the pursuit.
Right. Wow. Right. So this was going on right when this movie was being released.
Wow.
And that dominated the next year, for sure. The trial and all that.
Do you feel like this Diddy trial is like getting close to that kind of popularity?
June 12th.
June 12th. So that happened before.
Wow.
This came out. Wow. So that dominated America. Do I think the Diddy? I'm kind of avoiding. I read some stuff about it, but I'm kind of avoiding it.
But I guess that's what I mean is like it's starting to feel a little unavoidable. Like it's becoming that circus that OJ was. And it's like, what are we doing, you know?
Yeah. Nothing is as singular now as like an OJ trial, because like every network was covering it.
Yeah.
And now Trump's a clown show, so that's getting a lot of media coverage too, obviously. But in terms of like a celebrity going down, I can't think of another big trial. Like,
I mean, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing was pretty big.
That was another big one
years ago.
You're right. But do you think there's a version of Diddy getting off? No pun intended. Beating the rap? Can I say that without innuendo?
I think that's another one. Beating the rap. Like,
do you think he will be exonerated? Is that the word?
I mean, I feel like there's a chance he can in court, but not in public.
Is it a jury? I don't even know. Jury trial?
Yeah, I believe so.
There's going to be a lot of, unless they. The problem is there's so many counts, right?
Yeah.
Like OJ had 2 murders he had to beat.
Yeah.
Diddy's got to beat like multiple counts, predation,
and then the way that they're defining
forcible
trafficking is, you know, is it's a very tricky subject. I mean, like I don't even fully understand it myself. From the way it was explained to me, I think it was kind of explained to me in favor of Diddy, so I don't know if that's exactly true, but it was just like, you know, all he did, he just flew people out so we could have sex with them. What's wrong with that? You know, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, he created pressure scenarios where they had to deliver.
Yeah.
And he got them doped up. And I think behind all of it is this threat of violence, certainly with the ones he was close to.
Yeah.
He was like abusing some of them.
Unchecked behavior, man.
Yeah.
Unchecked behavior. That's all it is. Like if somebody would have checked his ass, like we wouldn't be dealing with this. But you know, so many people deal, and that's what I mean about Hollywood norms. Like I'm not about like this Hollywood norm where, you know, you can just treat people any way you want to just because you feel like it. You woke up this morning and you were like, oh, I feel like being abusive. Like,
yeah.
No, like that's not cool, you know?
Well, this ties right into the nicest man in entertainment, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, right.
He's a huge star, and he seemingly keeps decorum and is respectful of people, and there's not a lot of like problems.
As long as you're respectful of him, because that dude, like what, 2 years ago, tripped up his wife. He's gonna punch him out. You remember that?
No, what happened?
He's like, back the fuck up. Him and his wife Rita Wilson were
like paparazzi.
Yeah. They were just walking, and I think like she got caught up in something, and then he was like, "What the fuck? Get the fuck back! Get the fuck back!"
That's a pretty good Tom Hanks. That's a pretty good Tom Hanks. Yeah, I agree. That's the line that like your family, you can lose your shit, and also like paparazzi, they do invade your space a lot. They're very not that I've had a couple moments. Yeah, not like those dudes.
Yeah, never like those dudes, man.
No.
I always look at that like how, you know, what's really hard is when you're in school with your kids in school with another kid and their parents are really famous, and like you got like somehow they end up in your algorithm on the internet, and you're like, I don't want to know this. I don't care. This is the worst. And then you got to see him the next day, like in the headline with something all fucked up, and you're like, you know, like you just pretend like you didn't see it, pretend just talk to him like it doesn't exist. You didn't tell me, so I don't know.
That's good.
You ever did that? Like, or even at work, right? You go to work with somebody and they're like in the news, and then all of a sudden it's like, we just let's say these lines in front of each other's face, and it's all this like tension or whatever behind the eyes. You're like, man.
I think you're right. You don't want to. Well, you don't want to be the guy that brings it up. Like, hey, what's going on? You don't want to be the guy that
brings it up, but you also don't want to like sit there and have a genuine interaction with somebody and have this information where you're like, I don't know if this person raped her or not.
Right. So you avoid it.
Yeah. So you're like, and then I don't want to judge the person as if I know what happened and they didn't say anything and we're all just here having a good time. You know, it's weird.
It is weird. Only in LA.
Only in LA, man.
Or like your kids' dads and moms' national stories.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we did our pre-K at Exploring Minds, and like the voiceover was always done by like Jason Bateman or Jason Schwartzman, and it was like so funny. Like at our little kids show, we had like this famous actor.
My kid's preschool WNBA legend Candace Parker is a mom.
Whoa!
3-time MVP.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
She kept her life pretty clean. There's no scandal around her, right?
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I can't think of one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like her. Did she win a national title?
Yeah, Tennessee.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Pat?
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
I'd love it. So talking about Forrest, I loved that I was going to try to keep track of all the people he influenced. He influenced Elvis.
Yep.
He influenced John Lennon for the song Imagine.
Yeah.
Like influence. He met Johnson. He met Nixon. He met Kennedy. He didn't influence them, right?
No, he didn't influence them. I mean, he showed Johnson his ass.
Yeah. But that's
I always felt that was a little weird. He's like, I'd like to see that. I was like, what were they insinuating in that moment?
I don't know.
I'd like to see that.
I don't know.
Like, oh, okay, that's weird.
He did the smiley face.
The smiley face.
He influenced that.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
He influenced that. Was there any other thing that like he kind of gets credit for? I mean, Bubba Gump became real, which is meta.
Yeah. It was a super meta.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. I'm probably jumping the gun. Did you know there was a second a sequel?
No.
There's a book that he wrote, that the author wrote after the original Forrest Gump book.
Really?
And then he says in the book, it says, you know, they made a movie about me and it wasn't quite accurate, and so that's all I got to say about that. And then in the book, he meets Tom Hanks.
What?
Yes.
So he wrote the book after the movie, obviously.
Essentially, it's like he wrote the book after the movie.
Yeah.
I was learning a lot about this as I was looking it up. You know, he's supposed to be a 300-pound man.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
In the book, he's a 300-pound man.
Really?
Yeah. So
he's like 6'8" or something.
Yeah, and they originally wanted to get John Goodman.
Oh.
And I thought that would have been crazy. I mean, that would have been a really crazy film. That would have given me some Green Mile vibe mixed with some Forrest Gump, you know? So I thought that was really interesting.
Did you ever see Everybody's All-American? John Goodman plays a football star with Quaid.
Yes.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
He's kind of a beast in that.
Yeah, man.
That's a very interesting or different way to go with this. If John Goodman, he could have done a great job.
They had a lot of names based on like who they wanted to play Forrest. They brought up John Goodman. Bill Paxton was the director's choice.
Okay.
But they wanted somebody with more star power. They mentioned what's his name? Night Court, Harry Anderson.
Okay.
They mentioned him.
Really?
Yeah, but he was doing something world, Beekman's World, or not Beekman's World, whatever, some show. He was doing some show that was really irrelevant at the time. And they brought up Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and one other SNL alum.
Really?
Yeah, which was really interesting, man. Like, I couldn't, you know, seeing Tom in that role again, I couldn't see anybody else. You know,
had they worked together? Because I think Hanks was just coming off of Philadelphia. He won an Oscar.
He just won Philadelphia. Yep.
And so I wonder. So this might be his first film with Zemeckis.
Yeah, this is his first one with Zemeckis. Yeah.
I think they made the right choice, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. This was like, and then like, you know, what's funny is like Philadelphia, Forest Gump, and then he did Apollo 13, like back to back. It was like, when you think about it, the mid 90s was like, if it was Tom Hanks was in the movie, it wasn't going to miss. It was going to hit.
He could have gone full Diddy right there.
He could have been.
He could have been freak off Diddy every day on set.
You know,
and nobody would have stopped him. Maybe Rita.
Who say he wasn't? And then like he just cut it out.
You can't keep that quiet.
In 1999, like he was like, I'm done with the freak offs, and then he passed it to Diddy. Like here,
this
like it was a gift in a box.
This is your party now.
It was like just a chalice full of
drugs.
No, baby oil.
This is your now. You continue. Here's the baton.
Yeah.
The freak off baton. Tom Hanks came through our theater when I was in Chicago. Okay. Him and his wife Rita, because I was doing the real life Brady Bunch at a place called The Annoyance.
Yeah.
And Rita had appeared in the Brady Bunch as a young actor.
Oh, okay.
And so she came on and played her part, and Tom came, and I think his son Colin was there, and I forget who else, probably the other kid. But he was also extremely nice, and he'd already done Bachelor Party by that point, and maybe he had done Splash by that point.
Yeah.
So he was a funny, famous guy already, and he was super good, just funny and amazing person.
Yeah, man.
Did you know that, or did you read that the shots where they had to carry him crossing America like 4 times or whatever when he runs? Mm-hmm. Zemeckis is like, we're gonna have to pay for that ourselves.
Yeah, the studio promised him $55 million, but gave him $45. And when it came to doing those scenes, they did them in secret because the studio was paying for it, but they said cut it. So they even sent a representative down to say, hey, cut it all out. I'm watching you. And she was so in love with what she saw that she was like, all right, I won't tell the studio. And they all like kind of, did it under secret. But when the studio found out, they were like, all right, we'll pay for it ourselves. And they took a significant cut in their pay to pay for these scenes.
But I think they got a piece of the gross.
Exactly.
As a result.
Yes.
Because I saw a thing,
Yeah, like I think Tom Hanks got like 2% or something like that. Or 2 points or something.
Yeah.
Which is huge because I got a percentage of a point for Get Out, and that was a significant amount.
Really?
Yeah.
Good agent, man. I've had points, not bragging, I've had points on multiple movies, never panned out.
Well,
it's always an indie. It's always an indie movie, and I'm not complaining. I'm like you. I'm very grateful.
We're gonna pay you with potential, kid.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
Yeah,
but that train has never come to the station.
Yeah,
the points train.
Oh, they capped me for sure. They were like, no more than this, though. We'll give you these points, but no more. Once it reaches this, you're done.
But was everybody on that one just in good faith? Everybody got the same deal because it was Jordan's first movie?
I don't know if everybody got the same deal, but I can tell you that as far as like, me and Betty were with the same agent, and we pretty much got the same deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Betty Gabriel?
Gabriel.
I just did a movie
Chicago,
with her.
That's right.
In South Africa.
Oh, wow.
She was great.
It was fun?
She's awesome. Yeah, we had so much fun. She's into yoga, so we would do yoga.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
She's travels a lot.
She's
she's by herself.
She's like a pro working actor that just crushes it and is like,
and just kind of disappears in the mist. And
yeah.
Like, where did you go?
Yeah.
I have to harass her every now and again just to be like, hey, how you doing?
What's up? I sent her a picture recently. We'll take a picture and send it to her.
Nice.
So what else did you find out from your?
I bet Zemeckis learned a thing or two about points after Back to the Future.
Oh,
that's a movie that Universal still claims hasn't made money, even though it's a worldwide phenomenon.
What?
Yeah.
Paramount claims that they didn't make any money off of Forrest Gump because of advertisement and.
But the box office gross I peeked at it was like 500 million or something.
At 280 million is what I saw as far as box office.
Okay.
They said that they didn't make enough money back to pay the writer.
Yeah.
So he sued them, and in good faith, they bought his sequel book. They bought the rights to the sequel, like the second book, and they tried to make it.
Gump and Company.
Yeah, Gump and Company. Yeah. And eventually he passed away in 2020, so they never got to make the sequel.
Wow.
But Tom Hanks kind of refused it because he at one point announced he would never do sequels or prequels.
Right.
And then in turn did Toy Story 2, 3, 4.
And Da Vinci.
Angels and Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Because things change.
Said never twice.
The other thing notable about this one is the soundtrack. Like they really went after
soundtrack
big.
Was crazy.
Yeah.
And they used the Doors the most out of anybody.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think this movie is what kind of like, because I used to listen to Oldies 103.3 as a kid. So I heard a lot of music in this era that like, because, you know, it's kind of crazy to think about. In the 90s, I was listening to 70s music and they were calling that oldies. But now in 2025, I'm listening to 90s music and they're like, is that oldies? I'm like, it kind of constitutes as oldies if it's over 20 years. So
yeah.
It's an oldie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But it's not, it's different because the sample, the basically my kids can call up any song and it's we found oldies because there was a station called Oldies.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's all searchable. And there was no like chapter where you had to go to the oldies store.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or so the oldies section.
Yeah.
It's like a little section. Here are the oldies.
Yeah, so it bleeds together now. Like the sense of oldies and stuff like that is just different.
But that soundtrack, I remember, really shaped a lot of my music, like stuff that I liked, you know. It really just hit the core. A lot of, like, I really love those, the war scenes. The Vietnam scenes were...
Senator's Son by John Fogerty. It ain't me. I ain't the fortunate son.
You know?
Yeah.
Something happened in here.
Yeah, Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah. You know, it's like all these songs just like always just stood in my mind. But that movie is what really like introduced it to me.
Well, they used it. Yeah, he used it to perfect effect, didn't he? And I don't remember what was playing when he was running across the country.
Jackson Brown.
Oh, Running on Empty.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Man. Yeah. And his brother was used as a run double, stunt double.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tom Hanks' brother.
Oh.
Billy Hanks.
Jim.
Yep. Jim
so
Hanks.
He didn't have to go to like Mount Rushmore. Tom's like, yeah, I just use my brother.
Yeah, I just use my brother. Just go ahead.
Maybe put a beard on some of the budget. I don't know.
His mom called and was like,
well,
will
Tom's
you get
like,
your brother out of my basement?
I'm already putting up my own money. I'm not going to do every single shot for this.
He's gotten his brother a lot of work.
Or he got his brother to do it like for a lower price, maybe.
So Jim does all the Disney, the Toy Story toys. That's Jim's voice.
Oh,
his brother?
You buy a Woody toy, it's Jim's voice. Yeah.
Oh, good for Jim.
Oh, nice.
So he's making a living. That's nice. One thing I remembered but really hit me this viewing is how effed up Robin Wright's life is in this story.
Yeah.
Jenny?
Absolutely.
In previous viewings, it was more... She was just lost. She was like searching.
Mm-hmm.
And in this viewing, it's the heavy-handed abuse and trauma that she suffered in that house. Yeah. God knows what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, they told us what happened.
What?
Her dad liked to touch her and her sisters and kiss on them and hug them and touch them at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we knew.
But
But what's interesting to me, the psychology behind this, right, is that this girl from an abused home is open enough to take in the town freak or the town like
idiot,
you know, like that compassion that you build from seeing somebody else, you know, struggling or going through it. Like, it's just, you know, it's a trauma connection almost, you know. But they caught it in the most beautiful way. I hope I'm explaining that in a
No, it's a miracle that it works, because he is a below average IQ human being.
Oh my God.
And they're children together, and they're up in the tree, and she's like, stay a little longer. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like a service dog for a little bit for her. But he's also her equal, and she looks out for him. Mm-hmm. And, you know, tells him to run away from when the trouble comes.
Yeah.
Run away, and she carries it to Vietnam. Says, run away, Forrest, run away.
Yeah. How fucking great is that quote? How many quotes can you quote from that movie just offhand without thinking, like, without, you know?
Mama said life is like a box of chocolates. Mm-hmm. Run, Forrest, run. Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
But Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
It was just like I would hear all these quotes again, and it would all come back to me.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Stupid does. Yep.
It is very quotable. You're right.
That boy's a running fool. Yeah. I was running. It was just these little moments where I'm just like, that's so good. Like,
he played for Bear Bryant, and I didn't realize that did his great grandfather start the Klan?
Yes. That was in there too. That was crazy.
That was something I guess I didn't realize right away, but that was interesting.
And she named him after.
Yeah.
No, he was named after.
Yeah, he was named after
the Klan, because it was Nathan Bedford Forrest.
But did that man start the Ku Klux Klan? Is my question, or was he just a member?
I believe he is the founder.
Yeah. Which is fucked up.
God, it was so fucked up. I mean, it was a lot of things. You know, as an adult, I was talking to my daughter about this. It's like, you know, with life experience, you'll watch movies, and when you get older, you'll see it and go, oh my God, I had no idea, you know? So when they go see the school principal, and he tells her, like, hey, your kid is not going, and then she goes, well, I'm sure 5 points we can work something out. And then, like, he's on the swing outside, and you hear, you know, like, and when he gives the response of like, yo, mama sure does care about your schooling, and then he says, do you talk? And he goes, I didn't catch on that he was imitating
making
what he
fun
heard.
Of it. Well, Forrest gets his shots in. He can hold his own. Yeah.
Man, that was just oh man, Sally Field.
Yeah,
just go ahead and throwing it out there so she can get her son in a better school.
Yeah, but that was my whole Jenny ride. Like, every time she came back into the story after like really understanding, like, oh man, she is running from this trauma. Mm-hmm. It kind of broke my heart every time, and in a way that was like really impactful, and like, just so hard to thread that needle, and like, And then she has a couple moments where she's going to throw herself off a balcony, or she's considering
the
it.
Prayer. Yeah. Because of the prayer. She's saying, God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she does it on the Sunset Strip, and she does it on the bridge when Forrest comes to get her.
Comes to get her, yeah.
Was that the Black Panther, when he took her away from the Black Panthers?
Yeah. That.
I'm sorry I ruined your Black Panther party.
Oh man, that was great. That was awesome. I mean, like, and I really, like, I remember this last time I watched it, like, getting that visceral effect, watching her get slapped and seeing that look in Tom's eye, you know, like the way he can just zero in and go, oh, fuck, you know, and just, you know, and every one of them is just punch, this stiff punch. Out of people.
He had a funny punch. He did.
Was she losing her virginity in that car the first time he saw her at her college?
Maybe.
She's like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I think so. I think she was. And that was like the first time. And then I think when the first time she's on the bridge is when she was playing guitar naked.
Yeah.
And he throws the sailors backwards or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to be a star. She wanted to be a music star.
What was the music star she said she wanted to be like?
Joan Baez?
Joan Baez. That's
yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And then she gets like pregnant. I'm jumping ahead. Interrupt me if you want. And then she tells Forrest because he runs into her, or she contacts him.
No, so
she does.
So he saw her. She ended up coming back home after he after his mom died.
After Bubba Gump.
And everything.
Success.
He's like, cutting grass now, and he gave the money to all the people and stuff.
In the hospital. He starts a hospital.
And she ends up just coming back to Greenbow.
That's right.
And that's where she got pregnant. And then she leaves him the next morning. Or no, they spent a few days together.
Yeah.
They spent a few days because she slept a lot.
Yeah.
And then she comes in his room that night. They have sex. She leaves the next morning. And he's like, well, damn, now I got all this energy from knowing what fucking feels like now. So I got to run.
Yeah.
And he ran for 3 years.
Yeah. Is that right? 3 years he ran?
3 years, yeah.
So when he meets his son is like 2?
His son should be about 5, maybe.
No. If he takes off right when she leaves.
Right when she leaves.
She's got about 9 months to carry that child.
Yeah.
So he's about 2.
And she doesn't contact him again for like a couple years, I feel like. I don't think it was right immediately.
She sees him on the TV.
She sees him on the TV while he's running, and she's clearly not pregnant, right?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like, that it just depends on how much time, because I was trying to track this too. Like, 1981 is where we're set.
Yep.
We're set in 1981.
Yep.
Meaning he had to be born, like, at 23, he graduated college because he spent 5 years playing football at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So that would put us in the first year of the Vietnam War, which was 1971 or 1969.
We were over there already in the 50s, basically.
In the 50s. Yeah. So I'm like thinking about the presidents and stuff. So he ended up meeting John F. Kennedy
as an Alabama football player. Lyndon Johnson as a veteran, a hero.
So what year did Kennedy get killed?
63. Yep.
Oh shit. So this is going all the way back. So by 1981, he's in his 30s.
Well, if he says 5 years at Alabama, say he graduates, 40s. He's 21 when he meets Kennedy. So that's 60. So he's 41, 42, 43, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah, early 40s.
So he's...
What's your question?
33. I'm just thinking about this timeline right now. Like, it's freaking me out because we're trying to figure out this kid's age, who's got to be like 3 or 4 or 5.
I'm going to say he's 3. I think she contacted him pretty soon after his run because he comes home and then I just stopped running. I didn't want to run no more and I wanted to go home. And he turns to the crowd and says, I want to go.
Yeah.
They say, quiet. He's going to say something. He's like,
all right, you should all go home now.
Yeah, I think I want to go home now.
Yeah.
And then he goes home, and I think shortly thereafter, he finds Jenny. Well, he's waiting at the bus stop because Jenny had contacted him.
Right.
And the whole narrative device where you see him on the bench is because he's waiting for the bus to take him to Jenny.
Right.
And there's a comic moment where he's like, hell, that's just 2 blocks away. You don't need a bus. That's really funny.
Jones Street is only 6 blocks that way.
Yeah. So he sees Jenny and reconnects. So whatever. The boy's 2 to 4 years old. Can we agree?
We can agree. He's over 3.
Haley Joel.
Former guest of the podcast, Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
That was his first
about
movie.
5 when they shot this movie. So,
he was 5.
yeah,
okay.
In real life.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah.
So,
Not 3.
Does that child have AIDS is my question.
No, actually, she didn't die.
She didn't get it yet. She didn't?
No, there wasn't AIDS. It was hepatitis C.
Oh, okay.
Because they never specify AIDS. We just assume it because the AIDS epidemic started to come up in the 80s and nobody knew what was going on. But it was really like the writer, I think, admitted to it being like hepatitis C.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Or hepatitis A, one of the 2.
All right. Well, a great performance by Haley Joel, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the woman who plays the bus driver, do you know her?
Absolutely. Siobhan. Is that how you pronounce it?
Siobhan. It's an Irish name. How do you say it? Siobhan Fallon.
Siobhan. Yeah, man. No, she's great. Like, she's a legend.
Yeah.
Actually, when I saw her, I was like, holy shit. Like that kind of feeling. Like, it's just that iconic red hair and red lipstick kind of thing,
Former SNL alum.
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to think. What was the other thing I remember? Men in Black.
She's in it?
Yeah, you remember she played the wife.
I don't remember, but I believe you. Now I have to go back.
Vincent D'Onofrio's wife before when he got turned into a roach.
Okay.
It's like, shut the hell up and have my dinner ready. And went outside and became a roach. I remember that.
That's a good memory. So one of the questions we always ask after watching this movie is, would you vote for that president? So there's a lot of presidents and a lot of
presidents.
Shootings. We see the Ford assassination.
Yep.
But we don't see the Reagan, right? It doesn't go that far.
Reagan.
We see the Reagan assassination?
Yeah. So we see Kennedy riding in the car before his assassination.
Yep.
We see Johnson get shot. We see
Johnson
Ford.
never got shot.
It was an attempt.
On Johnson?
Yeah.
Wow, I missed that.
On Johnson.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I saw, because it was like he got shot, right? Like I
don't think Johnson had an attempt. I don't know that Johnson had an attempt. Ford had 2 attempts.
Okay, that's
in
maybe
like
that's
13
what it
days
is.
or something.
Maybe that's what it is. Ford had 2 attempts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Reagan.
And Reagan's in the movie?
Reagan's not in the movie, but they showed the attempt.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Oh, they do?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a unit. The violence in the country is sort of the unifying touchstone, at least.
Yeah. I mean, knowing what I know now, I don't know if I would vote for these guys, but.
So we'll go through them all. Kennedy?
I'll vote for Kennedy.
Okay. Why?
He was pretty outspoken about civil rights. I felt like that was important.
We also see Bobby, right? We see Bobby get assassinated as well.
Oh,
well,
we saw Bobby.
He mentioned it. He mentioned that he got assassinated.
Would you vote for Bobby? Would you, like, if he was running now?
I don't know.
You don't know? That's all right.
Kennedys are in a tight spot right now.
Okay.
Had his father lived, he might have straightened him out on vaccines. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
That's true. He had a trauma that he's reacting to. How about Johnson?
No. He was about segregation, I believe.
No. He was more about civil rights than Kennedy.
Who am I thinking of?
He got the deal done. He's the one who got all those Southern senators and
who was it that replaced Kennedy then?
Johnson.
Yeah. But
he's the one who got the civil rights.
Then who is it? Who was it in the 70s then?
Ford.
It was another Johnson in the 70s, no?
No. Ford, Carter, Reagan is 80s. Yeah. Nixon.
1 second.
Oh, well, they do cover
McGovern?
The governor that gets shot.
Yeah.
Alabama governor. What's his name?
Yeah, he fought segregation.
Yeah.
Was he a Johnson?
No.
George? Was it George?
George Wallace.
George Wallace. You're thinking of Wallace. No, he never.
Yeah.
We're gonna assume nobody wants to vote for him.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay. Then
I'll ask
that. Lyndon B. Johnson. Done.
So Wallace, no vote. We're not voting for him.
Nope.
Now we're on to Johnson. Would you vote for him?
I would vote for Johnson.
Yep. Now we're on to Nixon. Would you have voted for him?
I don't really know Nixon's politics. I just know about his scandal.
Yeah.
And based on his scandal, I guess I wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, no, you know what? Fuck him. He's talked about getting rid of the dark side of America, which was talking about black people.
He was baiting people.
Yeah.
He was baiting people with that.
Yeah.
Race baiting. And then Ford?
I'll go for Ford.
You never got to vote for him.
No, I know, but we're just saying like that president.
Just the chance.
Yeah, he was never elected.
I think I heard terrible things about Ford.
No. Yeah. He seemed harmless, sort of, like a moderate. He got kicked in the head. That was the joke they always made, playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reagan.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Charming guy.
Very charming.
Very charming, but no.
No.
Yeah, he was in that class with like the Duke,
Yes.
and all of that.
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make America.
I just knew how they felt about me. You know what I mean?
He wasn't your president.
Yeah. You just walk around and all of a sudden you knew where they wanted me.
Yeah.
Go get the towels in the back.
Yeah. The only thing I liked about Reagan is he was a lifeguard when he was a kid in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And he saved some lives.
Is he originally from Chicago?
Dixon, Illinois.
Yeah. Okay.
And he would like lifeguard in the summer, and he saved a couple lives. But he was the. I mean, they're all sort of good actors, but he was like the first great actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Kennedy's the first telegenic president, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He played the medium really well. Anyways, this is great. And why did you choose this movie? I forgot to ask you. What does it mean to you, or why did you choose it?
You know, I originally wanted Being There.
Yeah, Taken.
This movie was the closest thing to being there. I'm attracted to movies like this that are about like nothing but something at the same time, you know? Like it was like it wasn't about nothing, but it was just like we're chronicling American history through the lens of this sort of village idiot, right?
Well, both those movies have a simpleton at the center of the story.
Exactly.
And you like that.
But I like the idea that they're walking through life by chance. They're not trying to create anything. They don't have a clock that's ticking behind them saying they got to get this done before the end of the movie. We're on a journey with them. And I guess I liken that to my own self, my own journey of like, I'm not necessarily trying to make things happen. I mean, I just like the experience of meeting people, and who knows where that goes, and you know, just being positive about stuff that, like, you know, little simple acts of kindness can change the world, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You step into some shit and shit happens, you know?
Yeah.
What? It happens. What? Shit? Sometimes. It's the greatest line in that movie to me.
Shit happens.
You know, like, there's so many like outtakes that they like took out of the movie that they wanted in there. They wanted to put in the scene where Jenny kills her father.
Oh.
She kills her father.
Did they shoot it?
They shot it. They shot that scene.
As a little girl?
They took it out. Yeah. She removed the handbrake, or she removed the brake from the tractor, and it runs them over in the cornfields.
Wow.
And they said they had to take it out because they don't think that her character could recoup from that violent of an act. You know, so they took that
She
out.
wouldn't get redemption or something. Wow.
Wouldn't be able to redeem her character. There was a scene where he meets Martin Luther King.
Oh.
And distracts the dogs and plays fetch with them.
Wow.
Originally, this was meant to be like a sort of a fantasy film. So every character was supposed to represent something. Lieutenant Dan had like a dark cloud around him in the original script. Jenny had angel wings on her. And Forrest was supposed to walk around with the Curious George monkey.
Wow.
Everywhere. Hence why he has the book with him everywhere.
And is that in the book?
To that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, no, I don't think it's in the book. I don't think it's in the book.
No.
It was written in the
script,
the original script that they passed to Demakis.
Got it.
Demakis.
Okay.
It's a crazy adaptation. There's a lot in the book that goes nuts. Raquel Welch is in it. They go to the moon with an ape.
Yes, he goes to the moon. He's an astronaut.
Lost on a deserted island.
Wow.
With Raquel Welch and this ape. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, and
he's in a band with Jenny. He's a harmonica player for years.
Wow.
It's crazy the type of stuff that they have in there. There's one more thing I'm trying to remember. He was the line when he's wheeling Lieutenant Dan across the street and they're about to get hit by the cab, and he goes, boom, he hits the car, I'm walking here. You know, cowboy, urban cowboy, midnight cowboy. Yeah, midnight cowboy. You know, just give it that homage, you know.
Well, they were playing the song too.
Yeah, exactly.
Nielsen.
So I was just like, it's things like that I didn't realize this movie had so many little, here's a little like, you know, like what was the painting? They had different moments of the movie had a picturesque moment that was based on a painting. A famous painting.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize that. You know,
wow.
I mean, people can look it up, but I didn't write it down or whatnot.
That's interesting.
I say one of my favorite lines in here, too, is like, they're trying to let coons in our school. He's like, what, raccoons? You know, raccoons try to get in my back porch. Mama just say, you got to get them out with a broom.
That's when he picks up the girl's book.
Yeah, man. You know, just like, I guess for me in 94 as a kid who grew up in St. Louis, and every year in February, we had to watch videos of black people being bit by dogs, shot by hoses, arrested, beaten, all this kind of stuff, learn about black history and slavery, like clockwork. Every February 1st, that was what we were doing. To see a character like that was unheard of at that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why this movie had a profound effect on me. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. What do you think the moment when his mic went out at the Washington Mall and he was going to speak about the war and the fact that he didn't say a thing, what do you think that meant? When Abby Hoffman's like, come on up here, man.
Yeah. So Tom Hanks says he did say something, but they cut it. And what he says is, some people go to Vietnam and they come back with no legs. Sometimes they don't come back at all. It's all really sad. And that's all I have to say about that.
Wow. So that he actually spoke.
Yeah.
And it was amplified to the crowd. And they just cut that.
Well, no, it wasn't amplified to the crowd. They cut the mics out, so he's just talking.
Oh, that's what he was saying.
That was what he was saying.
But what do you think the meaning of the fact that he doesn't get to talk about the war
Vietnam
to those people?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. Is like
he can never be an official spokesman.
Exactly. He can't, like, none of his words actually ever affect the world. He's just
behind
a part
the scenes
of time in history. Yeah. You know, like that's what I really like about it. Is like, you know, and even at the end where the guy's like, he's like, you know, we became one of the biggest fishing boats in the world. And then the dude's laughing like, you mean to tell me I'm sitting next to a millionaire? Oh, please.
Yeah.
You really had me on that one. You know, like it's something about that just like nothing about him, even in the moments where he was, you know, you think you can recognize him, you couldn't, because when he was most telegraphed, it was in a uniform or it was with this huge beard or it's like during ping pong. But
yeah,
it's never like we ever got to see Forrest just being Forrest.
Right.
It was a uniform. It was a sport. It was something else.
Well, he's Zelig, isn't he? He's shape-shifting into the next moment or the next historical thing.
Yeah. You know, it's a real lesson in like just the same as being here, you know, like just be in the moment. And in that moment will take you to the next moment.
I got to work on that too. All right. This is good life coaching.
Yeah, we live 5 minutes, man.
All right. Thank you, Marcus, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
This has been Second in Command. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Second in Command. We also have the first show up on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, always there, first one of the month. And keep an eye out for Marcus on the next season of Lincoln Lawyer, which is coming out when? What's your guess?
My guess, the last season came out in like November, December. So
all right, so maybe the end of the year.
End of the year.
It's a fun show. Yeah. And I'm glad that guy's a nice man. I like him. I mean, I like his character. And thank you always for checking us out. You can write us. We'd love to hear from you. And see you soon.
Miss you, Tim.
Miss you, Tim. Peace.